Alright, so CheapGearGuy. This time we're reviewing the MDE USB to MIDI to USB adapter cable on, I think they got it on eBay, Amazon, blah blah blah. I needed one desperately because I've got my Behringer FCB 1010 slouching here trying to get in the camera shot, and I'm already in. FCB 1010, and I've got the drum pads, and then I've got my MIDI keyboard, and I've only got one port on my phonic. It's only got one MIDI input, and not all these have MIDI in and out. The only one that has MIDI in and out is the FCB 1010. This one, the drum set, just has an output. The microphone's back here, so you probably hear me less when I turn towards you. So with that, with this only having an output, I had to output into the FCB 1010 and then into the phonic, which that meant that I'd have to unplug it if I wanted to hook up my keyboard, which meant that one of the two always got left out. If I was working on the keyboard, I just didn't feel like unplugging and everything. Now everything's set up. I got everything good, man. The drum's ready to go. All I gotta do is turn them on. The FCB 1010 is ready to go. Just gotta turn it on. The keyboard, same thing. And so how does it work? Well, technically, how does it work? It converts all the MIDI notes into USB signal that your computer can read. Plug and play. Just plugged it in, it worked immediately. Works quickly. I ended up paying $5.10 for it. Which actually, well, we're not going to that. Well, why not? I ended up paying nothing for it because it took a long time to get here. It didn't arrive on the date. So I wrote the people that sold it to me on Amazon, hey, do you guys know where it is? Oh, we're sorry, it's 2 days after they're supposed to be delivered. We're sorry that it didn't arrive on time, so we'll just go ahead and refund your money. And I was like, okay. And then about 4 or 5 days later, it showed up. So I wrote them and said, hey, I've got the adapter, and it works. I'll send you your money back. And they said, keep it, and keep the money. So I'm not going to complain. I didn't even write back and say, are you sure? You're going to tell me that? I'm going to keep it. Take a look at how well it works. When you think about it, what more do you want? I mean, I've seen some bad reviews about this. Let's take a quick look at how it's going to look. Of course, on the one end, you have there it is, MIDI, USB. The MIDI cable just comes down to the back there, and the USB just hooks up to the computer. Like I said, what more do you want? I mean, I've seen EMU cables, other cables going for $30, $40. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I'm a CheapGearGuy. I don't do that. Especially not for just a cable that's just going to hook up to the computer for that. I couldn't spend $30, $40. I didn't have it. Much less want to spend $30, $40. So really, what more do you want from a MIDI to USB cable? It does what it's supposed to. It sends the MIDI notes to the computer, and it's because I have the ASIO drivers for the phonic, and if you don't, you can get ASIO for all, because there's zero latency. You saw us. Well, I won't say zero, near zero latency, close enough that I can hammer it out. It works great if you had like a laptop and you wanted to plug up your drums to your laptop inexpensively, and you had ASIO for all and like say Easy Drummer, something like that. Boy, they just do not want me to have this. The complaints I've read about on Amazon were saying that the keyboard for some reason didn't want to send the sustain pedal notes or the MIDI modulation, but for just keynote hitting, it did fine. When I got it, I plugged it up to my Guitar Studio, and for some reason it would randomly just change, in Fruity Loops, it would randomly change what generator it was triggering, because I had it on a keyboard and it'd switch over to the drums and it'd switch over to the bass, and it was just randomly changing, and I don't know what is going on. So I was like, well, maybe it's my keyboard, maybe something happened, so maybe it's the adapter. So it is a $5 adapter. So I plugged into the drums worked fine, it did fine, and then I plugged the regular MIDI that I usually had to my drums going into my keyboard, and now the keyboard works fine. So I've got everything hooked up simultaneously, and it works out perfectly, and there's no problems. So if you're looking at possibly getting one, be aware of the fact that it may not work with the keyboard if you've got modulation wheels and sustain. I hooked it up to my drums, and you heard it. It works just fine. And it just had plug and play drivers. I didn't have to download any new drivers or anything like that. Just be aware of those things. I mean, so yeah, that's the MDE. Yeah, MDE. USB to MIDI adapter, and thanks for watching. I hope this was informative. Hope it helped you out. And CheapGearGuy, I'm out of here. Have a good one.